Although the Korean entertainment industry has still a long path to walk when it comes to accepting gay people, it used to be much worse back in the day. The devastating story of Seok Cheon is the perfect example of this because his life became a living hell the day people found out he's gay. Seok Cheon stepped into the limelight in the 90s and made a pretty amazing impression in quite literally every field. He debuted as a model and even spent some time working as a reporter. In 1995, he won the Bronze Prize at the KBS Comedian Festival because his presence alone managed to light up an entire room. His jokester personality got him pretty far because in a blink of an eye, he was asked to appear on various variety shows, children's programs, sitcoms, and dramas. All seemed to be going well for Seok Cheon until he made a revelation about himself that would turn his entire life upside down. When Seok Cheon came out in 2000, most Koreans didn't even have the word gay in their vocabulary, since loving the same gender was very looked down upon at the time. By admitting that he's gay during a variety show, Seok Cheon became the first public figure in the Korean entertainment industry to do so. At the time, he'd starred in a drama called 3 Men, 3 Women. This was basically South Korea's version of Friends, and he happened to play an ambiguous character that was very much giving the audience a gay vibe. Following his appearance in this sitcom, Seok Cheon was asked by the variety show host if he's into men. He was kind of put on the spot, but instead of hiding out of fear, Seok Cheon was very brave and honestly answered that he's gay. He explained it was supposed to be a joke at first, but he realized he actually didn't want to lie anymore. It's said that the show's producer initially edited out his coming out, but a journalist got their hands on the story and pressured Seok Cheon into confirming his sexuality. South Korea is a pretty conservative country, and they take their traditional values very seriously. The public had the worst possible reaction to his coming out, practically shunning him from society altogether and pushing him to the point that he contemplated taking his own life. He received little to no support from the public, since there was a big group of people that threatened his life, arguing that, as a gay person, he didn't have a right to live on this earth. While that is already shocking enough to hear, things got worse when all his employers decided to drop him one by one. It started off when NBC, the network that produced the children's programs he starred in, called him to ask if he was really gay, and then proceeded to remove him from the program when he confirmed that he was. From then on, it was a downward spiral, since the next thing you know, he was also dropped from a radio show. Then he stopped receiving offers for new projects, practically leaving him unemployed and blacklisted in the industry. From time to time, a sympathetic TV producer would reach out to him with a job offer, only to call back later and retract the offer with the explanation that a higher-up executive disliked the idea of having a gay man on the show. His professional career was clearly suffering, but his personal life was also in shambles. In 2003, Seok Cheon sat down for an interview to reveal the horrors he had faced after coming out. He said, "I lost my whole career, TV, musicals, commercials, everything just like that overnight." He explained that fellow actors shunned him, teenage boys on the street couldn't wait to harass him, and even his own family turned against him. Due to the huge amount of stress he was under, he developed unhealthy coping mechanisms. Elaborating on this, he said, "Let me put it this way. I didn't smoke much in the past, maybe 2 cigarettes a day, but then I smoked 2 packs a day. Before, I wouldn't touch alcohol. Then I started drinking. Things were especially bad the first weeks after his coming out. The public uproar was so horrible, he had to lock himself up in his apartment, afraid to face the world." Speaking on what it felt like, he said, "It was like somebody suddenly dropped a bomb on everything I had worked so hard for. One day it was there and the next it was gone." You won't believe what happened to Seok Cheon after that though. Before we get to that, we've got some great news for you. With all the new K-dramas coming out weekly, it's almost impossible to keep up. But what's even worse is when the episodes air later in your region than they do in Korea. Ever since we started using Surfshark VPN, the sponsor of today's video, we've got access to new content in a matter of seconds. You can do the same through Surfshark VPN, as it allows you to swap your IP address to basically any place in the world and then virtually travel to that destination. For example, some great K-dramas such as Dr. Slump air in South Korea early and get to the international audience much later. With Surfshark VPN, it's easy to tackle this problem and simply switch the IP address for a Korean location and stream the latest K-drama episodes on Netflix without any issues. In addition to that, some some platforms have a wide catalog of Korean TV shows and dramas that is only accessible to the Korean audience and not the international one. But not only do you get a chance to watch your favorite dramas on time, Surfshark VPN also protects your identity in online spaces by encrypting everything you do in between your device and the internet. Therefore, even if you're connected to public Wi-Fi, you can feel safe because Surfshark VPN is protecting you and your private information from malicious hackers. Secure your privacy and stream more with Surfshark VPN now. Enter coupon code MISSK for an extra 3 months free at surfshark.deals/MISSK. While it's hard enough to have the entire public turn its back on you, it hurts even more when it's your own family that doesn't accept you. Unfortunately, Seok Cheon also had to mourn his relationship with his parents as they couldn't come to terms with the fact that their son was gay. Seok Cheon shared that his family comes from the countryside, where they didn't even know what being gay was. When he came out, his parents came to stay with him, and they cried together with his sister for a month, asking him if he could change his mind. They had found out about his sexuality through the media, just like everyone else. He shared that his parents made him feel like there was something wrong with him. It didn't help that he'd already come out to his sister 3 years earlier, who had asked him to keep it a secret until their parents passed away. Even more outrageous is that his parents eventually asked him if they could take pesticides together so that they could pass away as a family and not face the public. After watching Nick's coming out scene in Heartstopper, Seok Cheon reflected on this moment in his life and shared that he'll never forget the disappointed expressions on his parents' faces. His family life was troubled in many different ways. He shared that in 2008 he adopted his sister's children after she went through a rough divorce. His niece and nephew, who he refers to as his adopted children, were never embarrassed of him, but the adoption in general was very hard on them. Seok Cheon's sexuality made a lot of things harder for them, especially when it came to public events such as graduation. Tearing up, Seok Cheon said, "One of the reasons I sent my son to study abroad is that I was afraid he would be made fun of by his peers because of me. When he was here, I didn't go anywhere close to his school. I wanted to go so much to take photos and leave memories, but I just pretended to be sleeping in. I wanted to go, but I was never able to be there, and I'm so sorry to my son and daughter." For the longest time, Seok Cheon regretted coming out. He explained it felt like God had abandoned him. He was banned from broadcast for 3 years, so he decided to take on a different career path. He opened several restaurants in Itaewon, which is known to be a more open-minded space in Korea. But even owning a restaurant wasn't easy for him as a gay person, since many people visited him just to insult him. Elaborating on this, he said, "They'd walk into my restaurant and see me and loudly announce, 'I didn't know this was a gay restaurant.'" He also revealed that people would yell out insults and derogatory terms upon entering the restaurant. Despite these hardships, he tried to keep on going. His feelings of hopelessness and desperation got so intense that he once made the decision to leave this world. He thought that he could withstand the backlash with a positive mindset, but at some point he couldn't take it anymore and went to the Han River late at night to take his own life. Many people who decide to leave this world often go to this spot, which is why a lot of Lifeline phones and supportive messages are placed there. Seok Cheon wanted to say goodbye to someone before he left, so he decided to call his ex-boyfriend, who actually saved his life. He picked up immediately and was the reason why Seok Cheon decided to give life a second shot. He said, without a word, he asked, "Are you at the Han River right now?" And he started to severely curse me out. I found it funny how he knew exactly what I was doing. His ex-boyfriend's words made Seok Cheon snap back to reality, which is why he went home and decided to fight his way through. Although Seok Cheon had reached the lowest point of his life and he was blacklisted everywhere, things started looking up again after he got offered a role in Perfect Love. This was a show about a gay sitcom character who faced a lot of hardships after coming out to his friends and family. What better person to play the role than Seok Cheon? Many viewers liked the complexity of his character, and the show pretty much saved his life and career. There were also people who protested in front of SBS saying that Hong Seok Cheon should not be in the show. However, in the midst of this backlash, SBS had his back and defended him. The producers and writers said, "He didn't do anything wrong. Why are you treating him like this?" This was the first time that someone in show business stood up for him, and it was a first step Seok Cheon took to build an even greater career than before. It's been 23 years since Seok Cheon became the first TV personality to come out as gay in Korea, and he's thriving in the industry at the moment. Ironically enough, Seok Cheon's status is now used to boost the publicity of others. Recently, he was spotted kissing Dex from Singles Inferno on the cheek during an award show, and he revealed they had an agreement to do this so that Dex would gain publicity. On the 23rd anniversary of his coming out, Seok Cheon reflected on his life and said, "Even if you're going through a tough time right now, even if you're tired and want to run away, way, if you persevere with positive energy, better days will come. If anything, he proved that if you stay true to yourself and keep your head up, the possibilities are endless. It's great to know that Seok Cheon became somewhat of a legendary celebrity in Korea.